Okay, welcome to the September meeting of the East Lampeter Sewer Authority. And hello, and welcome to the regular meeting of East Lampeter Sewer Authority. My name is Rick Robinson, and I am the chairman. I want to inform all participants that this meeting is being recorded. Due to the COVID-19 virus, Lancaster County's designation of being in the green phase of reopening, in-person attendance for this meeting is being limited to 25 people who are observing social distancing. Additionally, based upon the order of the Secretary of Health regarding face covering, all participants in the public meeting room are required to wear face coverings unless they fit into one of the order's exceptions. When speaking, while maintaining social distance, participants may remove their face covering. Therefore, this meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. The authority is expecting to utilize this vehicle for all future meetings during and after the COVID-19 crisis. Please continue to check the township's website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the township's website and will be posted on the front of the township's building. The township will also be recording the meeting and making it available for viewing via the township's website and YouTube channel. While every effort will be made to ensure that live streaming and website are working, East Lampeter Township takes no responsibility for and cannot be held liable for the unavailability of live streaming in part or in due to technical issues beyond its control. Live streams and recordings of all meetings remain the property of East Lampeter Township and protected by copyright. Access to live streams and recordings of these meetings is provided for personal and non-commercial use. Video, images, and audio must not be altered, reproduced, or republished without permission of East Lampeter Township. Joining me in the meeting room while observing social distancing are Brent Stolzfus, Todd Stump, Fred Clark, Vinny Patel. Also participating in the meeting and present in the room are Charlie Thomas and Matt Seachy, our authority engineer. For all joining via Zoom, I now want to confirm that they can hear me and that all of us can hear them. When I call your name, please give an indication that if you are able to hear me, which I don't think we have anyone joining us by Zoom.
We have nobody on.
Right?
That's correct.
In order to accommodate public comments at this meeting, the authority will be accepting public comments in writing or via email. Instructions for the submission of public comments are available on the township website. All those providing public comments will be required to provide their name and address in order for their comments to be read into the record. Inappropriate comments will not be read into the record. It is suggested that all of you who are joining the meeting via Zoom mute your microphone during the meeting until you wish to speak. I want to remind everyone that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be made available for viewing to the public through the township's website. We will now proceed with the meeting agenda. And I ask you to join us in the pledge to the American flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we all received the minutes about 10 days ago, and unless there's any additions or corrections, they're going to stand approved as written. Treasurer's report.
We have a balance of $7,824.20 as of August 31st, 2020. As far as $288.66.
Positions, Mr. Cici.
Requisition number 03560, payable Herbert Roland and Grubik, Inc. This is for the fertility pump station well mixing project, Stauffer Run pump station pump replacement design, and Stauffer Run force main CAVC repairs in the total amount of $3,215.37. Next is requisition number 03-561. This is payable to Fulton Bank in care of City of Lancaster. This is for the wastewater treatment plant oxygen plant improvements escrow agreement for $10,451. Next is requisition number 03-562. This is payable to CDW Government. This is for the SCADA upgrade and invoice associated with that. It also includes a credit, and the balance between the invoice and the credit is a total of $689. Requisition number 03-563. This is payable to Desco Design and Construction Incorporated for the construction contract application for payment number 1, as well as construction contract application for payment number 2 in the total amount of $37,994.01. The next is requisition number 03-564, payable to Sherwin-Williams Company. This is for paint that was procured for the fertility pump station and well mixing project in the amount of $133.77. And the last is requisition number 03-565. This is payable to Tower Services Unlimited. This was for the SCADA upgrade that's going on. And this is the invoice for the removal of the antenna from High Steel's tank in the amount of $1,860.
I'm going to look for a motion to pay the bills and requisitions.
I'll make a motion we pay the bills and requisitions.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Going to go to old business, fertility upgrade chopper pump.
Thank you. The Desco, as a contractor, they've completed all the work associated for this project, and the project is complete. I just approved the requisition there for their 2 applications for payment. So the only other thing with that would just be at the get signature on those 2 applications for payment. So I think it's been up and operational for about a month now. So
That is correct, yep. I have no complaints.
Okay, sounds good. Stauffer Run upgrade.
that project is still progressing. I think what we're looking at right now is intention for something around the end of the year for that project from a completion standpoint.
Other old business. Business. Stormwater projects and update, 160 Greenfield Road.
Okay, as we reported last month, Hutch has reached out for a person to appraise the property at 160 Greenfield Road due to the easement agreements not being signed. We do have a price. Hutch has multiple emails into the gentleman to do it. Once the guy gets back to him, he's looking for authority to go ahead and sign the appraisal to pay the guy to do it. And then we can proceed with the court documents for eminent domain.
Need a motion to approve that?
Yes.
Okay, looking for a motion to approve the
Authorization for appraisal? Is that what you're?
To be able to sign for the gentleman to do the appraisal. The appraisal cost is $3,800.
Right. I'll make a motion that we authorize for the appraisal.
Receiving some questions on the stormwater fee. It definitely did slow down a lot, but there are still some questions. We have a couple of property to make sure that pervious area is what it is. So I think we have 4 applications submitted. We actually just went through them today, and we're making contact with people now to go visit their properties. The other thing I could mention now is we did hire a stormwater coordinator. They are starting on Monday. His name's Charles. Once he gets settled in, I'll try to have him attend a meeting so everybody gets to know him.
do you have any kind of previous experience or?
Yes, he worked with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. He was with Maryland Conservation District. He has a lot of background and a lot of stormwater. He comes with high credentials. Pardon me?
You have to pay somebody like that?
Actual budget number, I don't want to misspeak on that.
Process for that, is that something people just request or they need to file out some paperwork?
About an application, there is no fee for the appeal. I do the information we have, or we actually go visit the site.
Utility pump station, pump repair, or replacement.
I'll take that. So the pumps at Fertility Pump Station were replaced as part of the upgrade that was done in 2010, 2011. And since that time, there have been a number of repairs required to those pumps. And the pumps that were put in at that time, if you think about the pump, it has basically a wet end, which is where the volute and the impeller are that spin, which actually creates the pumping action, and then it has a motor that's attached to it. The wet end of the pump was the same exact model and manufacturer as the pump that was there. The motor was moved from 2 stories above the pump and connected with a shaft to right on top of it. So the wet end of the pump is the same, and in the report, I show the repairs that have been performed to those pumps since that time. And we've had the manufacturer out to look and try to see what's going on with these pumps. They sent out factory service reps, like why are there these causes for repairs? Everything that they've looked at, basically there was no smoking gun issue as to this is why we're getting seal failures on the pumps when they're the exact same pumps we had previously and no issue. And since then, pump number 1 is currently out of service. It's been repaired. This would be the third time since 2011, and it's been about a 3-year interval since then. And the current cost to repair the pump is $24,311 plus freight for the parts. And it's looking at about an 8-week lead time to actually ship the parts to the repair shop. And over that time, the pump number 1 was previously repaired in 2014 for $28,000 and change, and then in 2017, the manufacturer repaired the pump again at their cost. So ultimately, we're trying to see, based upon the size of these repairs that are needed, should we be looking at another pump? And we reached out to another manufacturer just to get their thoughts to say, do you have a pump here that would work in this situation? The one we reached out to was a manufacturer named Flight Pumps. They're a well-reputable pump manufacturer. They have a local repair shop, factory repair shop down in Malvern. They took a look at the situation. They came up and indicated that they have a pump that would work in this situation. It would require some modifications to the piping to actually get that installed, as well as it's supported a different way. The current pump has its own metal support stand. This one will require a concrete support stand. So overall, there's been work on pump number 2 and number 3 that I've listed at the various costs for those. But we wanted to bring this to the board's attention, get your thoughts on, should the township continue trying to repair these pumps, particularly pump number 1, given it's got about a 3-year lifespan based upon history? Or should we look at installation of a new pump in this scenario? What Larry told me today is pump number 3 currently has a seal failure. So the pump is still operating, but at some point here in the future, that pump's going to need to be pulled from service to repair the seal. And looking at if we were just to replace the existing pump with the same pump from Fairbanks, the current manufacturer, the rough cost there is about $80,000 for a new pump. The cost that Flight had provided was a budgetary quote of about $82,000, but they said that actual cost would be 10 to 30% less than their budgetary number that they provided. However, there is some cost for installation and the modifications associated with this. Flight also indicated that their pump is provided with a 5-year prorated warranty, 100% for the first 2 years and prorated after that, or it may be possible to increase that to a full 5-year, 100% warranty as well. So we wanted to bring this to the authorities' attention here. These are some of the things that have been occurring, the township staff's been dealing with. But bring this to your thoughts and say, is this something that we want to keep with the same pumps and repair them as needed, or do we try something else in there, given the issues that the staff has been having with the current manufacturer of pumps? They are.
Is the pump separate from the motor?
Pump and motor, yes.
Separate pump housing. What's failing? Is it something in the pump, or is it the motor, or is it the seal of the pump?
It's the seal. I think it's generally the seals between the pump and the motor. So there's the motor housing, and it's has one shaft that that's connected to the motor and drives the impeller, drives the pump, and it's the seal between those that's generally has what's been failing. We've had vibration testing done to see, is that an issue? Is there an issue with the particular setup with VFDs where there is it's causing some harmonic issues? That's probably the $28,000 or so, 20.
When you take it apart.
There was some wear in the impeller. There's been wear in the impeller over time, but I think that's been reduced at this point. I don't think that's been an issue as far.
Happening on the impeller.
That some time ago where there was pitting or something on an impeller and there was something else needed to be done to it.
They put a Belzona coating on that impeller, and I think since that it's been holding up satisfactorily. I may find that email from Larry on the overall.
The older pumps lasted a lot longer with the drive shafts, but that was the issue there with the motors up top and the drive shafts. We had some impeller issues. We did also have some issues with water getting into the oils, something else they found. The oil, wasn't there water in the oil, Matt?
That's the seal.
Yeah.
All right, so I found the quote for the work. So it included testing, disassemble, and inspection, clean, checking all fits tolerances, rewind and VPI stator, 130 pounds of copper wire.
That's rewinding a motor.
Yeah. Media blast impeller. And this one, they were going to do the Belzona coating of the impeller. Replace bearing, volute gaskets, O-ring seals, O-ring covers, O-ring housing, mechanical seals and terminals. Rotor, assemble test, UL inspection, and
This is a factory authorized repair shop.
this is Motor Technology. I would have to see if they are factory authorized. I'm not sure if they.
All this was going on last week. I was on vacation. I apologize.
Looking at the quote from MotorTech, doesn't say if there's no warranty noted.
I don't like that the 10 to 30% could be off in the budgetary price. You know, I mean, they're already quoting a little bit higher. 10 to 30%, it could be 90 to 100 and $105,000.
What they're saying is lower.
Oh, lower?
So what they wanted to say was this is the price, but they're saying the actual price they quote would be 10 to 30% lower.
Yeah, wink, wink. Come on, Rick. You've
I mean,
played
it does
that
not
game.
say that in this statement here, that's why I said that, you know, but I mean, when you give them basically an open checkbook.
Plus, if you have to do repiping and new motor mounts and
More
everything else.
concrete work.
Yeah, that,
Could be, could be 10 to 30%.
Because they're saying, you know, they can give CoStar's go from there, and they're saying if they're competing with someone else, you know, they.
oh, so they're saying they can sell it for less than the CoStar quote.
Yep. Yeah.
No, there's no doubt that that's the case, but I mean, you know,
CoStar pricing is just where it gets started. It goes down from there.
Right.
Thing is, if it's not a CoStar's pricing, if it's not listed under that, it's going to have to go out for bid, correct?
Value of it, unless they provide, let's say, hey, here's our CoStar's number, or this is our CoStar's price. See what that number comes out.
Sell it for less.
Oh, CoStar's
Without a
is,
bid.
it is negotiable. You can negotiate
Yeah, it's
CoStar's numbers
without a bid, you can do it. though.
as long as they're a CoStar's participant.
Right.
So that they're a CoStar's participant.
So yeah, and those prices are negotiable.
$240,000 on a 9-year-old pump station.
Well, and the thought was if,
That was, everything was redone at that in 11.
correct. So the one thought is, do we look at it for just one pump to see how it functions if pump number one is the issue versus replacing all three? And I think that's where there's a little bit of a debate to see if pumps 2 and 3 are still operating or number 2 versus the cost of replacing all 3 at one time. And
Like pump number 2
Mhm.
was rebuilt in 15 for 7,000, 15, 1,800, and then in 2016, 9,300. Do you know what was actually done at each one?
I believe Larry has all the repairs in his folder. I think, there can be issues with seals that happen over time where they need to be replaced. But I think this level of repair, at least for pump number one and the repairs, that is the oddity. As Charlie said, the initial pumps, generally you would look at these and say, hey, these pumps should be lasting for 20 years. And I think the previous ones that were in there, we could see that they did that. And you do have to replace the motors or repair the motors from time to time. But overall, they should be lasting longer.
So why were these Fairbanks Morse pumps spec?
They were the existing pumps that were there that had functioned well, performed well. So there was an exact, basically on the wet end side of the pump, it was a direct replacement.
When that motor was moved down to the first floor, that was everything was all new.
Correct. So to move the motor from the first floor down to directly on the pump, that was done to eliminate all the joints associated with maintaining the shafts. The thought would be that there would be less maintenance involved with these pumps because you eliminate all the drive shafts associated with the motors. That's required with them. They'd be safer because you don't have those rotating elements in the pump station anymore from an employee standpoint, employee safety.
Repair to date though.
There was one in 2014 that came in at $28,360 for pump one.
Or rebuilt in 2014 for 28,000, and in 2017 at the manufacturer's expense. What does that mean?
So we actually shipped the pump back to the manufacturer to have them repair it and rebuild it. Because we had them involved.
So was there 28,000 in 14, and then in 17 there was another rebuild, but
Correct.
at that time at their expense?
Correct.
Pump.
Yeah, they alternate. We keep an eye on things like that, which is picked up on the SCADA system. But yeah, they alternate and they're pretty much the same hours. Now, if one pumps down, of course, the other two are going to run a lot more if we take one out of service. Usually just one pump runs.
But if
Higher flow scenarios, then two pumps would operate simultaneously.
high flow period, you need the two pumps down.
Correct.
On very high flows, which if we get a lot of rain, we've got three pumps running.
Well, and pump 2 and 3 haven't had much done to them. What can be the difference?
Pump one pulls from the closed side of the wet well where we had that matting that was on top of the water that the chopper pump's designed to take care of. Pump 2 and pump 3 Pump 3 pulls from the open side of the wet well, where we didn't have both wet wells simultaneously. It's got a pipe into both that combines into one. So that's from an installation standpoint at the structure, that's the one difference between pump 1 and 2 and 3.
Now we put this chopper pump in, that's
That-
supposed to make it better.
Correct. We should eliminate that matting. That's correct.
That matting, does that ever get into the pump flow, or does that just make like a scum on the top?
The buildup up top is where it's at. I don't think it actually draws down far enough where you were drawing it
Would
into.
draw it down?
There's usually still about 4 feet of liquid in the wet well itself. It never draws it the whole way down. We'll be getting low-level alarms all the time if it did. It never takes it completely down. And I think it goes down
How
to
would you
about,
get low-level alarms if you have matting on the top?
The matting should fall with. Right?
Did you say should?
I did. The matting should fall with water level because unless it's got the structural strength to support itself, as the water rises and falls, that matting would rise and fall with it. But,
With the chopper pump in there.
yeah,
I'm just saying, I just makes me suspicious that there isn't something more than just a bad pump. Causing number one pump to go bad all the time. So if you're gonna spend $80,000, you better figure out what the heck's causing it before you spend 80 grand on a new pump.
Yeah.
What's causing it?
I can't answer
You know what
that.
I'm saying?
I agree. It's something where
Logic just tells me that something's up with pump one.
we've had the pump manufacturer and,
It's how you draw or what you
Right.
draw or something is causing it
Yeah.
to run dry.
right. So we did do testing on the pumps, and it's something we could look at again to see, when that pump operates, are we drawing air into the pump? Because that could be an issue if we're
If you're
doing.
running some type of an amp load on those
Yeah.
pumps, aren't you?
Yeah.
So can't you tell, I mean, are they graphed, are they metered?
Our meter, yep,
Well, then, can you see, there are 3 identical pumps?
Yep.
When they're running under load, they should be,
generally pumping the same.
right, so is one being overworked? By its amp draw, you can tell that. Does anyone look at that?
Look at it. With the SCADA system getting switched over, charts are all over the place right now. So, like I said, I'm not making an excuse for myself, but I wasn't here when all this happened last week. So I'm trying to play catch up on what happened, but we can pull that information, and look at it.
What I don't like about masks.
Uh-huh.
You can't see me laughing.
We can take a look at historic records and see, at least from the flows. The unfortunate thing is right now, because pump number 1 is not in service, is at the repair shop. So to actually get it and put back in place,
Isn't whether you're repairing pump one, it's already being repaired, right?
No, it's just at the manufacturer, it just got taken there for them to investigate and them give us a quote what it's gonna cost to repair it.
Be able to give you some idea
But
of
it's gonna
what's
cost you a lot
causing
less
it.
to put it back in the way it, just get it repaired and put it back in, but in the meantime, after it's back in, you gotta figure out what's causing it. And then maybe you have to redo some piping or something and maybe put in a new pump at that point. Common sense tells me there's something going on with pump one compared to these other ones.
we do. It's the 24,311 plus whatever the freight is for the repair parts.
I agree with Fred that until we can spend $82,000 on a new pump, I think there's something more than that based on the historic history.
So if you're telling me you're rewinding them, that means the motor's burning out or the motor's overheating, because that's why they're having to rewind the field, the stator. So that tells me it's overworked electrically, it's being overworked. But why, you wouldn't need to redo the stator? So something's over. Chart, you might be able to see it spiking at certain times because something's overloading that pump.
Could you talk into the microphone, please?
They alternate, right, Charlie? All the three
Yes.
pumps, they alternate? Okay.
And if they are alternating and all running about the same amount of time, I mean, where this thing pulls from or piping or something,
It's bad, but when it happens every
When it
3
happens
years.
every 3 years, that's telling me something's working the crap out of that pump. So let's get the pump repaired, get it back in, start studying and figuring out why that thing's overworked.
And with the chopper pump going in, maybe that caused the
And you
problem?
might have already solved the problem,
That's correct.
because the mat didn't supposedly drop down.
Go ahead and repair the pump.
Tell Larry,
We just need the pump back, whether it's a new one or get this one repaired, one or the other. We just need to know what to do.
Okay, we done with this fertility pump station discussion? Any other new business?
We have an escrow agreement, one that Charlie received and sent out to everyone. This is for the wastewater treatment plant special and emergency capital improvements. It's escrow agreement number 4. This is one that's done every year now. Overall, the escrow agreement is for a $125,000 contribution, $250,000 contribution by all the parties. And the authority share of that is 14.93%, or $37,325.
Copy of that is not in your packet. That just came in today from the city. I emailed it out about 2 weeks ago, said it was going to be up for discussion once we received it. So I wanted everybody to review and any questions for that, but it's the emergency repair.
yeah, this is the one that their catch-all slush fund.
Need authorization for signature.
Look for a motion to
I make a motion that we sign the
escrow.
escrow agreement number 4.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Other, just update on Treehouse Foods. Solicitor Cream, update, or has prepared a consent agreement that he drafted. Have a discussion, I guess, further, present that to Treehouse Foods.
That should be going out within the next week or so.
Just the repairs they have to make.
That is.
And is it also what they have to put in place to stop this from happening again?
We did receive some information from the city of what they're having them do at the plant, which is under review. What the city's requiring them to do, and then.
Was that because it's industrial waste?
That's correct.
Ah.
They enforce our industrial waste ordinance, so the city's gave them their recommendations, what they have to install there. Our recommendations are what they're going to have to do to the pipelines, whether it be repair, but there's multiple things that we're going to be looking for. That we did have discussion with Treehouse on, and they told us to come back with a list so they can get it to their solicitor.
Also includes reimbursement of costs.
Favor?